A violent incident at Temple, Israel on March 12, 2026, triggered panic and a large law enforcement response after an armed suspect rammed a vehicle into the synagogue before opening fire, authorities said. The attack unfolded in West Bloomfield Township, a suburban community northwest of Detroit, and is now the focus of a joint investigation involving federal and local agencies. Please subscribe, like, and share for more updates. Thanks. According to officials familiar with the investigation, the suspect drove a pickup truck toward the synagogue complex shortly before midday and crashed through the building's entrance. After forcing his way inside, the individual reportedly fired multiple rounds from a rifle, causing chaos inside the facility as staff and visitors scrambled to reach safe areas. Security personnel at the synagogue quickly confronted the suspect, and during the exchange a gunman was fatally shot. Police confirmed that the attacker was the only person killed in the incident. One security guard was injured when the suspect's vehicle struck him during the initial crash. Emergency responders transported the guard to a nearby hospital, where authorities said he was being treated for injuries that were not considered life-threatening. Temple, Israel is one of the largest Reformed Jewish congregations in the United States and serves thousands of members across the metropolitan Detroit region. The synagogue complex houses worship spaces, community centers, classrooms, and an early childhood education program. At the time of the attack, children were present in parts of the building, but officials said staff quickly implemented safety procedures and moved them to secure locations. Witnesses described moments of fear and confusion as a crash and gunfire echoed through the building. Some people initially thought the noise was related to construction or car accident before realizing the seriousness of the situation. Congregants and staff followed emergency protocols, locking doors and sheltering in place while security and police responded. Authorities said the suspect vehicle continued moving inside the building after the crash, traveling down a hallway before eventually stopping. Investigators later discovered that the vehicle caught fire during the incident, adding another layer of danger for those responding to the scene. Fire crews were called in to extinguish the flames and prevent further damage to the structure. During their search of the vehicle, law enforcement officials also discovered explosive materials, prompting the deployment of bomb squad units. Investigators worked carefully to secure the area and determine whether the explosives were functional or intended to cause additional harm. The discovery led to a temporary expansion of the security perimeter around the synagogue as authorities assessed potential risks. Multiple agencies responded to the incident, including local police departments and federal investigators from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Officials said federal authorities are assisting in determining the suspect's background, possible motives, and whether the individual had any connections to extremist groups or prior threats. Nearby schools and community facilities were briefly placed on lockdown as precaution, while law enforcement searched the surrounding area and ensured there were no additional suspects. Authorities later lifted the lockdown once the situation was fully contained. Michigan leaders quickly responded to the attack, condemning the violence and expressing support for the Jewish community. Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, said acts of violence against houses of worship are deeply troubling and emphasized the importance of protecting communities from hate-driven threats. Local officials in West Bloomfield Township also praised the synagogue security personnel and first responders for acting quickly to stop the attacker and prevent further injuries. Investigators noted that trained security presence at the synagogue played a key role in bringing the situation under control within minutes. Temple, Israel has long been a central hub for Jewish life in the Detroit metropolitan area, hosting religious services, educational programs, and cultural events. In addition to worship services, the synagogue regularly holds youth programs, social outreach initiatives, and community gatherings that attract large numbers of participants. The attack has renewed concerns about the security of religious institutions across the United States. In recent years, Jewish organizations have called for increased protection for synagogues and community centers due to rising threats and incidents targeting Jewish communities. Investigators are still working to identify the suspect and determine what led to the attack. Authorities have not yet publicly confirmed whether the incident will be classified as a hate-motivated crime, though the investigation remains active and ongoing. Community members gathered later in the day to support one another and express relief that the incident did not result in greater loss of life. Religious leaders and local officials said the synagogue will continue working with law enforcement to ensure the safety of congregants in the coming days. As investigators continue reviewing evidence from the scene, officials say their focus remains on understanding the suspect's motive and ensuring that any potential threats connected to the incident are fully addressed. The investigation remains ongoing, with updates expected as authorities release more information about the suspect and the events leading up to the attack.